So here's my English presentation. Yada yada yada, Clay's introduction here. Let's begin. So English covered a bunch of topics that are just so boring that I don't even know if these people are even remotely trying to make this freaking English book a bit more entertaining. So you know what? Why not I just cover what I want to cover, alright? Because the lesser the topics are covered here, the more I can cover up all of the necessary questions you want me to answer. So let's begin. So if you don't know, a thesis is a point or proposition. An antithesis, however, is an opposing point or proposition of a thesis. What do I mean? I don't know. This book just wants to make it a lot more confusing than it already is. But basically, an antithesis is present in a statement when there seems to be contrasting ideas. For example, I rise, yet I fall. I wish to perish, yet I will ask for help. I love one another, and I hate myself. What does this poem means, you may ask? Well, it isn't a poem at all. It's just a bunch of sentences I got from the book that are said to be sentences with an antithesis. So as you see, these statements show a contrast of ideas. If you want me to give an example of a decent sentence with an antithesis, then don't even bother. Now this seems to interest me because this has something to do with writers who want to give effort to their stories, like me writing the script of this video. Basically, what the topic in this book points out is that a common issue that writers seem to have is of coming up with easy to understand stringy sentences. Stringy sentences are sentences that extend but have no real weight or substance. I would like to explain more about this, but since I want to make this video as quickly as possible, let me just summarize it for you. When writing a book, you want to describe any detail that you would want to add, may it be important or have little meaning to where the story is heading. The sentences that describe these details are called stringy sentences, but sometimes you would add so much detail that the reader would barely understand what you are trying to say. This is a very common problem that most writers nowadays get. But if you writers want to avoid confusion to your readers, I displayed a list of ideas over here that will help you out. You can pause the video if you want. Ah, yes, what I like to consider my favorite lesson. Satire. If you live under a rock, satire is the way of ridiculing the errors or failings of people, things, and ideas through either humor, parody, or irony. Now, I can give a very controversial example of satire, but why don't I just make my own light-hearted satire on you guys, alright? Now, you know that in science that we should do our annual weekly project and regroup ourselves. But for some reason, you guys would just sit next to me just so to help you guys on a certain project. Now here's the thing, alright? I'm as completely clueless to what to do as you are when doing the project. Now the only difference between you and me is that at least I tried to participate. Now you're all like, hey, what should we do? And I'm all like, just read the instructions, you jag. I mean, it is really as simple as reading the instructions in the lab manual and you're asking me what to do? Well, that's just pathetic, bro. Heck, what are you even doing in the 10th grade? If you ain't reading, then go back to kinder, because you don't seem to know how to read, sucker. And that is my satire on you guys. And if you are expecting an apology, well, wait, I shouldn't be apologizing. I just said it's 100% true. Why not you apologize to me? Well, that was my report on English. Do you have any questions? Yeah, of course you didn't listen. Let me just leave the room, okay? Stupid jerks.